Have you ever looked at your GetWorkfolio timesheet and felt like you were trying to crack some kind of secret code? Well, you are definitely in the right place. We are going to break down every single metric so you know exactly what your timesheet is telling you. Exactly. You see all these different numbers and labels, active time, idle time, productive hours, and it's totally natural to think, what does any of this actually mean for my workday? Well, that's what we're here to do. Let's break it down piece by piece. And to make this super clear, we're actually going to follow a sample employee, we'll call her Luna, through a typical workday. By seeing how her actions get turned into data on her timesheet, you'll get a much clearer picture of your own. Sound good? Let's jump in. Okay, first things first, let's talk about the absolute basics, the core timings that really frame your entire workday. We're talking about when you start and when you stop. So let's start with clock-in time. This is the moment your day officially kicks off. Now, the most important thing to remember here is that GetWorkfolio only, and I mean only, registers your very first clock-in of the day. So don't worry if you accidentally click it again, that first time is what sticks. Let's look at Luna. She clocks in at 9:15 a.m. Maybe she gets a coffee, comes back, and absentmindedly hits the button again at 10:05. It doesn't matter one bit. The system knows her workday officially started at 9:15 a.m., and that's the time it keeps. Simple as that. Now, clock out time, this one works a little differently. It's kind of the opposite of the clock in rule. This is when your day officially ends, and GetWorkfolio will always take your last clock out as the final word. This is super important. So here's how that plays out. Let's say Luna thinks she's all done for the day at 5:30 and clocks out. But then, you know how it is, a last-minute task pops up. She ends up working until 7:10 p.m. and then clocks out for good. Her official end time? You guessed it, 7:10 p.m., making sure all that extra effort gets counted. So, how does this all add up to your total worked hours? Well, it's pretty straightforward. It's the total time between that first clock in and your last clock out, but with all your break time subtracted. And here's a key detail. Break time isn't just when you manually hit the break button. If your computer screen locks, GetWorkfolio automatically counts that as a break too. Okay, we've got the frame of your day figured out. Now let's dig a little deeper into what you're actually doing during those hours. This is all about measuring your on-screen interaction, and that brings us to active versus idle time. The difference here is really simple. Active time is any time you're physically using your keyboard or moving your mouse. You're actively interacting. Idle time is when you're clocked in, but there's no physical input happening. This happens all the time. Maybe you're on a long call, watching a webinar, or just leaning back and thinking through a tough problem. It's just a different way of working, not a lack of work. Here's a perfect example we can all relate to. Luna has to watch a 40-minute training video for her job. She's focused, she's learning, she's definitely working. But since she isn't typing or clicking, those 40 minutes are logged as idle time. See, it's not a bad thing at all. It's just classifying the type of activity. And the math here is super easy. If Luna worked a total of 8 hours, and we know 40 minutes of that was the idle time from her training video, her active time for the day is 7 hours and 20 minutes. It's just your total worked hours minus your idle time. All right, this next section is crucial, so lean in for this one. We're going to talk about how the apps and websites you use get categorized. And I want to be really, really clear from the start. This is all about giving context to your workday, not about making judgments. So a typical day, just like Luna's here, usually gets broken down into 3 main categories: productive, unproductive, and neutral. This just gives you a quick, high-level snapshot of where your time is going across different kinds of applications. This right here is probably the single most important thing to understand. When your timesheet says productive apps time, it only means that you spent time in an app your company has labeled as productive. It is not, and I repeat, not a judgment on how well you did your job or how much you got done. It's just a category. So you might be asking, who decides these categories? Well, your company's admin does. They'll mark work-related apps like Gmail as productive. Things for personal use, like Instagram, get marked unproductive. And neutral? That's just the catch-all for anything that's new or hasn't been put in a category yet, like a new HR website you just visited for the first time. Of course, we all know that work doesn't always happen neatly at a desk with a perfect Wi-Fi signal. So what about those special cases? What happens when work doesn't quite fit the mold? Let's take a look. GetWorkfolio has you covered with 2 main special timings. First, there's untracked time. Let's say your internet goes out. The tracker pauses, but don't worry, by default, that time is added right back into your worked hours once you're back online. Then there's manual time. This is for any work you do completely away from your computer, like going to an off-site client meeting. And adding that, manual time is a breeze. It's just 3 simple steps. 1. You do the work. 2. You pop in and submit a quick manual time request with a few details. And 3. Once your admin gives it the thumbs up, that time is officially added to your timesheet. Okay, to wrap this all up, let's tackle the 2 most common questions we get, because chances are you might have them too. This should clear up any final bits of confusion and give you some fast, easy solutions. First up, the big one. I swear I worked all day, so why are my productive hours so low? This is a really common question, and trust me, the answer is usually super simple. And the fix is incredibly easy. It almost always just means that a tool or an app you use for your job hasn't been marked as productive in the system yet. All you have to do is shoot a quick message to your admin and ask them to update the category. That's it. Problem solved. And the second major question we hear all the time: why is my active time so low when I know for a fact I was busy all day long? Again, this goes right back to that difference between active work and passive work we talked about. Just remember, those really important but passive tasks like watching training videos or being on a long video call don't involve a lot of keyboard or mouse clicks, so they get logged as idle. The fix for this? Your admin can actually exclude specific apps like your video conferencing software from idle time detection. We really hope this guide helps you read your GetWorkfolio timesheet with total confidence. For any other questions, you can always reach our support team at team@getworkfolio.com.